Hello and welcome back to the National Metal Production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to another 70s hard and heavy video. This one's interesting. This one's basically leftovers, but it's all stuff that I couldn't basically fit. Because I wanted to keep it at least for those either 5 to 3 or 2. Not over the maximum limit. So these were all ones that I wanted to kind of throw. I almost felt like, but the thing is, I didn't feel like it really needed to. There are 2 albums here though that definitely are from are going to be featured on Australia, which I'm almost talking about doing a video on Australia, which that means they're what band or the bands I might show on there. But with that. Of course, I'm going to show 2 albums here that are going to be Southern rock based. All these from the U.S. 2 of them from Australia, and 1 that I just recently got, and it's of course is from Japan. Guess which band that would be. But yeah, these are all ones that I all had ideas for to make a whole episode, a whole video around them. But the thing is, I couldn't think of, so instead I'll mix them up to here, so they're all going to be in one video. So it's all 5 albums, basically pretty much all good 5 albums here. Alright, so the first 2 are, of course, going to be the Southern rock albums. So, first one here showing is, of course, is pretty much the 3rd album from, 3rd studio album from Blackfoot. That's, of course, the Strike. Strikes. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it's called, Strikes. Blackfoot Strikes, I think, is basically what they were implying on. And it's definitely a good album for sure. This is the only Blackfoot album that I have from the 70s. And again, it's a really good album. Road Fever, probably one of the more harder rockin' tracks on here. But the thing is, most of the album actually is mostly contrived of like covers. I Know I Got a Line on You, I think is a, what's the band I'm thinking of right now? I know Pay My Dues is from Blues Image, but I can't, Spirit? No, I can't. Is that the name of the band? I forgot. I think the one that sued Led Zeppelin over Stairway to Heaven. I think it's that band, I believe. Of course, Wishing Well is a free cover. So, it's definitely a good album. Definitely a good definition of 70s hard Southern rock. A lot more harder rockin' than Lynyrd Skynyrd, even though Lynyrd Skynyrd is a good band for sure. They definitely were pretty much one of the sort of 70s Southern hard rock bands, but these guys heavied it up in a way, so making it almost a lot more harder sounding, more harder rock sounding. So, still, it's definitely a good album. I'm going to stop talking about it. Ricky Medlock is a damn good guitar player, definitely. So with that, I'll definitely be playing a sample here, so I hope you enjoy that, and I'm going to be getting to the next album here, so enjoy. Alright, second album here, and again, when it comes to hard Southern rock, or heavy Southern rock or so, what's the one band, the one that defines that, besides Blackfoot? It's Hatchet, and I was figuring out which album to show, or which album to spotlight. I chose this one. Flirting with Disaster is a good album for sure, but the thing is, this was the first mullet hatchet album I ever listened to, and this is probably my favorite of the two. Though, when it comes to 70s stuff, at least, in their 80s, probably would be No Guts, No Glory. But this sounds good. It's a little more bluesier sounding, and definitely still has its southern image or sound. Basically, very more in line with Lynyrd Skynyrd, because of course it was supposed to have been produced by Ronnie Van Zant before the plane crash, because this was recorded back in 1977, but it didn't get released until a year later, in 1978. So, still, Bounty Hunter is a fucking great track. Gator Country, Big Apple, The Creeper. Of course, their cover of Dreams I'll Never See from the Allman Brothers Band is by far one of the greatest covers or cover songs to ever be recorded. A damn good cover. So there's a lot of good songs in here. So with that, when it comes to the sampling and everything, I actually chose The Creeper. It's a little slower, but I don't know, it has a little bit of a heavy feel to it for at least this album. So with that, hope you enjoy it. So that will be playing here, and I'll be getting to the next. I'm here so I can head into Australia. So with that,
you'll cut your throat and baby stick it in the back. Drive off with your Cadillac. It's more trouble now than you think. He'll kill your sugar, leave you in the drink. Say it's gonna be a cold dark night. Love, when the creeper come along, yeah. Oh, he'll get you, baby.
alright. Timely to focus on Australia, and the first band I'm showing here, because you guys see the, best Australian band for last. So, of course, this is the debut from Rose Tattoo. Definitely, when it comes to Australia, when it comes to their brand of hard rock and roll, it was definitely a lot more, slightly heavy sounding. It was all about completely aggression, almost very raw attitude. Every one of them always had a way of being very just, almost more straight up, more blue collar sounding. And that's what you pretty much got with like bands like AC/DC, Rose Tattoo, and so on. These two were definitely like the definitions of the whole Australian hard rock scene. Besides Buffalo being one of the earlier ones, which one of the members, I think was their bass player. The bass player for this band. Shit, where's the... I don't think it's got the lineup here. But I know the bass player for Rose Tattoo, I want to say Peter Wells is his name. I think that's his name. Played in Buffalo. So, just a really good debut album from Rose Tattoo. This sound and Assault and Battery basically are some of the two of the best sounds they ever recorded, to at least 2002 with Pain being probably their third best album. But this is just a damn fine album from Rose Tattoo. So with that, enough said, time to get the sample so I can get to the next one here. So enjoy.
Now Fast Daddy, he led the rival gang, and he claimed he was better than most. One day, I'm gonna fix that butcher. Always seemed to be this cocky braggart boast. There's only the quick and the dead. I want
of course, without no introduction, Power Edge by AC/DC. You really need me to say anything about this album. I already said a whole lot about this album in my favorite of 1978. I said what I love about this album. It's I can't say anything. I've already what's been said has already been said. A damn good album from AC/DC. Definitely one of their more harder or slightly more honest sound, even though they were always had an honest sound, but this one I think really definitely was pretty damn honest, a lot more. Favorite tracks off this one, of course, pretty much the whole album. That's all that can be said. So with that, of course, I'm going to be playing a sample. Alright, time for the fifth and final album here, and this is one that's out of Japan. I'm finally get one of their albums in my collection. When it comes to Japanese hard and heavy, this band should be one of the first ones you think about. That's of course it's their debut album. I could have gotten their second one, but that one's also really good. To me, these two are probably my favorites from this band's 70's material. That's of course is Bow Wow with their debut from 1976, and I think this is just as good as their debut, though maybe just a not slightly less good than Signal Fire, but Signal Fire is a damn good album. But this one I think is damn well no slouch, and this was probably the easier ones I can get my hands on until later on. But there is still some great 70's hard and heavy on this album. Hearts on Fire, Brown House, Volume On. James in My Casket it's a little bluesier. It's one of the longest song in the album as well, almost being a little over 9 minutes long, but it's a fucking great track. Kyoji Yamamoto should be right there next to guys like Frank Marino, Robin Trower, Richie Blackmore, who else? Mark Reale, of course Ted Nugent. You have to kind of, it's like Ted Nugent was a very influential guitar player, especially when during the Amboy Dukes, and you kind of get a little bit of that on here, a bit of that sound. Think more like Call of the Wild, but everything on here is just fucking great. It's like Kyoji Yamamoto really should be up there next to some of the great guitar players, of course, and I'm also forgetting about Pat Travers, who he also kind of reminds me a bit here and there, especially on the song James in My Casket, which, well, paying tribute to Jimi Hendrix, which of course makes you think of Frank Marino. And again, just a damn good guitar player. I cannot recommend Bow Wow's first two albums enough. But so with that, this is definitely a track that is definitely has to be heard. If you've never checked out these guys, this is definitely a band worth checking out. So I hope you enjoy the sample for it. So with that, anyways, this is everything Sam out, and I'll be here, of course, later today with, of course, an album review, and I want to know what album that would be. You better guess. Anyways, until then, this is everything Sam out. I'll see you later. Take care.